Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart, and I'm talking with Laura Kennedy again today. Laura is an amazing soulmate attraction coach who helps women raise their vibration to attract and call in the man and relationship they've always wanted. Laura and I did an interview a few months back and got such a great response and requests to bring her back on again. And we just have so much synergy around, the things that I teach and what she helps women with as well. And today we're going to be talking about two very powerful ways to shift your vibe and raise your love vibration so you can attract that man you want. So welcome, Laura, and thank you so much for being here again today.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much, Helena. I always love talking to you. So I'm super, super excited for today's conversation.
Absolutely. I'm excited too. And for everyone who hasn't seen our last video we did together, I'll post a link to that in the description below this video. It's about the most important thing you need to do to really attract that soulmate relationship that you've always wanted. Everyone loved that interview. And we're going to go a little more in depth and give you two more very powerful ways to shift your vibe so you can really start to do this. So Laura, what is that first way? Let's just jump right in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll just say, especially if folks have watched the last interview, but in case they haven't, really the whole piece, which you may have heard from your intro there, is about shifting your vibration or shifting your energy, because that's what really matters. So one of the ways that you can do this is through this principle of commitment. And just as a little context, I guess I'll say I use yogic principles to help guide my clients and to guide women through this process of shifting their vibration. So commitment, I also refer to as tapas. That's a beautiful Sanskrit name for it. And really what this means is, returning to your vision for love and just being so committed to it that you are going to consciously create it in your life, right? It's really taking ownership for what your life, for what your love life looks like and playing that powerful role. So it's kind of the action piece, right? It's not, sitting back and waiting. A lot of times when we hear the words manifest or we hear of law of attraction, which I use with my clients, people think that it's all about sitting back or visualizing and kind of a passive approach, but it's not. It's actually a really active process. So this is that commitment piece.
That is so interesting. Yeah, I talk about that there is action involved. I talk so much about those things as well. I have a program called the Feminine Art of Attraction, which is using your feminine energy to really supercharge your manifestations in all areas of your life, not just in relationships. And in one module of that program, I talk about responding, which is a feminine energy quality, but it's about responding to what your intuition's telling you, the impulses that can start to occur to you. So I'm really glad you said that it's not about just sitting back and waiting around for the right guy to come along. So what would that look like from your perspective in real life? What does it look like to really commit to yourself and take action in the right ways, not in ways that's going to burn you out, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I love, that you mentioned your feminine attraction program, because that's the thing, we hear commitment. Sometimes we think oh, well, I don't want to be too masculine or results driven or taking these big actions. And that's not necessarily what it means. Action or commitment could be a commitment to finding out what hidden blocks are within you, that's preventing you from calling in someone. It could be, for example, low self-confidence or self-worth, and being committed enough to your vision for love. If you are, maybe that looks like, okay, I really need to do some deep inner work around confidence or self-worth or non-attachment, or, different principles that you can tie in. But it's really about, again, taking action, but that action could be inner, it could be outer. My perspective is that it really depends on the individual and what kind of specifically is blocking them or has been blocking them. But from my experience, for the most part, it is typically something going on inside. It's something energetically kind of off balance, if you would say. So
Yeah, you know what I love about everything you're saying is normally when we talk about commitment and some of my other videos, or when women ask me about commitment, it's so much on the man, like how do I get this man to commit, right? And if you're in a place where you're like, how do I get him to commit to me? You already kind of lost that one, It's like if you were in a place, because the focus is on him, it's all about him. How do I get this man to do something he's not doing on his own right now?
Yes.
Total losing strategy, right? So
Yeah.
I I talk so much about taking your focus off of the man and putting it on yourself, your own
Mm,
feelings, your own life, those sorts of things. So I love that, committing to yourself, which
yeah.
could look like doing the inner work. That is beautiful. Do you
Yeah.
have any, like, what are some common things that women do? Like, how do they commit to themselves that have seen, like, where you've seen the most dramatic results, for them
Yeah,
to
for
track
sure.
stuff?
Exactly. I mean, I think commitment, a lot of women, I'll say, I think they're committed, right? They think like, yes, I really want this. They have that strong desire. And so therefore they think they're committed. But when you ask them, what are you doing? There's not really much of an answer sometimes, or I'm doing the deep inner work. But when you ask how, that's where things get a little fuzzy, right? And so, again, I think it's different for each person, but I mean, stepping into work with someone is a huge act of commitment, right? So, I'm sure you've seen with your clients, sometimes when people even just do that first step of like, yes, Helena, I want to work with you, or when my clients say that to me, that just starts to create a whole shift in itself. And then that's when we're able to look and see, okay, where maybe do you have some hidden blocks that actually do need to work things through, and how can we do that, right? It's such an individualized process, but yeah, I mean, I think you can take commitment in so many different ways. So that's one example for sure, which I think is an amazing example, because and I know you see the most success when you do a huge leap forward like that, right? So
Yeah, I'm kind of like feeling into what you're saying right now. It's almost like putting both feet in, like, because it can be so easy. And trust me, I was the queen of like one foot in, one foot out of relationships, of things, because I was almost like afraid to commit to my desire. I was almost afraid to say what my desire was, because I
yeah.
had this fear that I might not get it, So I almost like, and then you can do this with all areas of your life. So I was kind of one foot in, one foot out, so I could easily back myself out of it and go, oh, I didn't really want it that much anyway. So when you talk about commitment, I can kind of almost picture someone jumping in with both feet and really like believing that it's possible for them, which I know is obviously a huge piece when you're talking about law of attraction and calling in your soulmate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like you said, diving in with both feet, and like showing up on your end, and then letting the universe co-create with you, right? So that's where we talk about like law of attraction and manifesting. A lot of people think it's all up to the universe, and I put my desire out there, but this is like meeting it halfway, right? So, and that requires taking a leap, jumping in with both feet, and trusting, right? That's another one of the principles, which we won't get into that one today, but like trusting in that divine energy and that divine power, that as long as you're showing up and you're fully committing to your part of it, that the universe or higher power will too. So
I love that. That is just beautiful. So that is great. What's the second way a woman can shift her vibe and start to attract that man that she wants?
yes. So the second principle, the Sanskrit name is Socha. I just love saying the Sanskrit names because I think they're beautiful, and I'm a big yogi. And what that means is simplicity. And with all of these principles, they have many layers to them. There's a lot of different ways that you can look at them. And again, it can be individualized as well. But for simplicity, one of the big ways that can help create this shift is to just start to clear out kind of some of the mental clutter that we kind of accumulate when we're in the dating process. And I often see this, and I mean, I've seen it with myself when I was single as well. When you're maybe seeing someone new, and perhaps you're really interested in how things are going, but you don't hear back from them, or you're constantly thinking, when am I going to hear back from them? Should I message them, right? What should I do? All the rules. And this is where this principle invites us in, just to keep it simple, right? Like just go with what is happening in front of you. Trust your intuition, do what feels good. Because again, that's the energy that is attractive, right? When someone is kind of just going with the flow, right? They're not worried, they're not over analyzing or overthinking. That's when you're actually going to have that success, right? And it's easier said than done sometimes, but it comes with practice, and that's where all of these principles come together, and you really once you really embody them and they kind of become almost automatic for you or second nature, that's when you'll start to see the biggest results. So
I think that's amazing. Simplicity. I've never really heard anyone talk about that. And I've done so many of these videos with other experts. So that's awesome. To me, it feels like getting out of your head and into your body. I talk so much about, right? When you're up in your head, over analyzing, and we can all do it, myself included. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Can be easy to overanalyze. I get emails from clients all the time that are like, well, what exactly should I say? How do I convey appreciation? It's like when you shift your vibe, you don't have to try so hard, because the perfect words and the perfect things come out of your mouth at the perfect time with the perfect person, and you don't have to try. It's like you're in alignment with who you are, and everything flows. And when you're up in your head trying to come up with the perfect feeling statement to say, you're in your masculine energy anyway. So I remember yesterday this happened. I'm like, keep it simple, thank you. That feels so good. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just one, like giving real life examples, right? Because it's just that searching for a feeling is what's important there for that example. Or like what you're saying, keeping it simple, being in the moment, like believing it's whatever you're going for here. It's the simplicity of it that's going to make it happen, not getting too complicated and overthinking it. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting from that. Do I have that right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes people think, oh, but what if I do the wrong thing? Or that's why there's kind of this overthinking or overcomplicating, and they're worried that, well, if I don't do the right thing, then I'm going to mess it up. Whereas if you're just yourself and things don't work out, you didn't mess it up. It was just that wasn't the right person for you, right?
Yeah.
So
totally. There are no fatal choices here, right? With the right person, you can't shake them off of you. You can't. Exactly. One saying one thing wrong is not going to push him away if he's truly right for you. And if you're really shifting your vibe in a whole, like, holistic way, which I love. It's not just like sticking a Band-Aid and like, well, say this and that's going to fix everything, because it's not. You have to reverse this whole dynamic here if things aren't going the way you want. So I love that idea. Anything else you want to add there with simplicity?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, it sounds kind of cold sometimes, but I'll say if you are struggling with this, sometimes it's just like you have to kind of take the emotion out of it, in a sense. Like when you just can kind of like look at the facts and just keep it simple, right? Because when we, in the dating process, sometimes when our emotions are so high, right, that's what kind of causes us to go all over the place. And, and it comes back into trusting in the higher power that things will work out if they're meant to. And as long as you're showing up, right, the commitment piece, all of that. So, just keeping it simple, right? Just like looking at what's in front of you, and then you don't have to worry or stress or overanalyze or think. It's just like, you just look at the facts, you keep it simple. Do you want to text him? Do you not? You just go from there.
That's great. That is fantastic. I always say you can save yourself from so much confusion or anxiety in dating and relationships by just becoming an observer of what a man does, right? Not getting all wrapped up in how you feel about him. And well, this one time he said this 3 months ago, and we can tend to overanalyze when, especially if we really like a guy, right? So just watch what he does. Just watch what he does. I love that. Observe the facts of what's happening. I was just interviewing another expert earlier today, and he was great. He said, judge the relationship, not the man. Like, what's he doing? What is his effort level? What kind of energy is he putting out? Not, oh, I feel this way about him, so I'm gonna like stick in there even when things aren't feeling good in the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And just to that point too, I think sometimes, I mean, of course we're kind, generous people, but I think sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in ourselves and our feelings. And when we really think about, true love and the other person, which is what that is, you need to want them to be happy too, right? Otherwise it doesn't make sense to continue. And if their actions aren't reflecting that, then, it might be best or most simple to kind of go your separate ways and give each other the opportunity to find that real deep connection.
I completely agree. Yeah. So, okay, this was great. So let's recap those 2 powerful ways to shift your vibe and attract that man and relationship you want. And then I know you are hosting a summit, right? Coming up very soon, totally free for everyone. So give a little info on that and how people can register.
Yeah, absolutely. So the online interview series, it's called Manifest Epic Love. And we are teaching you how to discover the secrets to attract the relationship of your dreams. So there's going to be over 20 amazing experts. There's going to be some fantastic topics, a lot of different topics, tools, and, take-home strategies that you can listen to these like 30-minute audio kind of podcast style interviews and walk away with these great tools. So that starts on January 15th. And yeah, I'm just super, super excited to have everyone join and really take away these awesome strategies and tools so that they can, uncover what's going on inside of them and attract in the relationship, right? Through raising their vibration and have 2019 be their year for love, right? Like do something different this year so that you can consciously create that. You don't have to spend the holidays alone anymore, right? I know I was there myself before, and as much as we love the holidays, we wish we had that special person by our side. So I'm inviting people to attend this event, and we'll help get you there. So
I think it's great, totally free, and you can just listen to these audios when you're working out, getting ready, right? You can listen to them anytime. And are the experts offering free gifts too?
They are, yeah. So over 20 free gifts as well. It's going to be worth thousands of dollars that you are literally getting for free. There's no money required at all. So
amazing. Yes, I will include a link to that in the description right below this video. So everyone, please go check that out. I know I definitely will. Laura, this was awesome. I hope we can do another video together soon because it's always so much fun. So thanks again. And hopefully I will talk to you soon.
Awesome. You're welcome. Take care, everyone.